Writing Clinic, CE Past Paper 2010, Task 2, Question 1. You are a writer for a teenage magazine. Your editor has asked you to write an article about what life is like without a mobile phone. You have not used your mobile phone for a week. Now write the article about your experience. The title of the article is My Week Without a Mobile Phone. So today our clients we have Abby Joan, and let's read. My week without a mobile phone. It was 11:59 p.m. An awful Sunday night. I kept scrolling my phone in hopes of not missing any updated posts and stories on Instagram. My thumb ran and jumped, slid and clicked in this minute. When it turned 12, the thumb pressed the side button for a few seconds, and thus was how my despair started. Some good expressions, kept scrolling my phone. My thumb ran and jumped, slid and clicked. Okay, slid is the past tense of slide, by the way. Slide, slid, instead of slided. So here, I think updated posts can be shortened as updates. And let's feel it, listen to it. Updates and stories, sounding much better than updated posts and stories, okay? The rhythm, the beat, can you hear that? The thumb pressed the side button. How about the thumb kissed the button? Now this is personification. But to be honest, I feel uncomfortable when I say a thumb kissing a button. That just sounds a bit melodramatic, okay? So this is the action. But what's happening here is you don't just kiss it, you're actually kissing goodbye to it. So now I find it acceptable. When I say using the imagery kissing, I feel awkward. But kissing goodbye to the phone, now it has the double meaning. It means it is a deep press with some force. And also, no, I'm not calling for theory. And also, you are actually saying goodbye to it. You don't see each other in the coming 7 days. Paragraph 2. Sitting by the window in the bus, I was like a weirdo who wasn't wearing earphones and looking at the screen. The notification sound made by the phones was occasionally heard in the bus. So this is repeated. I don't like it. I will change it later. The boy next to me was checking his social media apps in delight. The girl on the opposite side seemed to be chatting with her boyfriend blissfully, and even the grandma in the priority seat. But this is a good choice, applying 1, 2, and 3. You see, a boy, a girl, and 3 should carry some magical power. Now the grammar, this is the highlight, the climax. And you see the detail in the priority seat. So this is a whole set, not just a person, but a person in the perfect background who's listening to music enjoyably. Okay, here I should have underlined looking at. Okay, so try to fine-tune the vocab. The word choice, try to be more accurate. If you're looking by paying attention, how about staring at the screen? Just make it more vivid. The imagery. The notification sound made by the phones was occasionally heard in the bus. Yes, we know that already. Thank you. So what happens? What kind of sound or noise do you hear in the bus? Well, I take the bus quite often, and I find it always noisy, and the noise comes from the engine. So heard against the engine, the revving engine, REVVING, engine. The boy next to me was checking his social media app. Yes, of course. And now my option is scanning. Scanning can mean from the top to the bottom in detail, nothing missing. But at the same time, it can mean not really paying attention, just, oh, it is Ariana Grande with a dog, like Oh, it is Mr. Chu eating his breakfast. Dislike. Okay, so nothing really stays there for more than 2 seconds. This is the idea of scanning. The girl on the opposite side, is she standing? Is she sitting? Where is she? So make it more accurate on the opposite seat. Seem to be, well, this is actually not okay. Chatting with doesn't show she's using a mobile phone. So it could be chatting in person, it could be chatting on the phone. So what about something more typical? Testing. Okay, the grandma listening to music. What kind of music? I was going to write Cantonese opera, but that was my first idea, and I found it a bit too typical. So to go atypical, since I said this is your own choice, you can always make it outstanding, and the detail matters. And I like a little bit of humor. See if you get it or not. This is Mr. Siu Yun. Okay, listening to Mr. Siu. Okay, Uncle Siu. Okay, a KOL among the more senior citizens, well, including my mom. And not just that, on her AirPods. Imagine that, an elderly woman in the priority seat listening to YouTube on her AirPods. That is dramatic, that is funny. This Monday morning, just on the way to work, my heart was itchy and my hand always took out the phone from the bag uncontrollably. The first day's challenge in a nutshell, a cloud of sadness. Well, there are so many online challenges, and usually we say day 1, day 2, day 7, day 10. So what about the day 1 challenge in a nutshell, a cloud of sadness? So here, your hands taking out something. How can we describe this action? Okay, you need to stick in your hand, feel for something, and here is a perfect verb. A finger as a noun, as a verb. Let's go for the verb. To touch or feel something with your fingers. Gary sat fingering his beard, saying nothing. Fingering the phone from the bag uncontrollably. I've learned this word from biology like there is voluntary action and involuntary action. So that simply means uncontrollable action, like your heartbeat, your diaphragm moving for breathing when you're asleep. Next page. I'm quite sure that you have felt like you yourself are an addict. Yet, it is amazing when you find yourself overcoming this difficulty. The game came to a half. Without the disruptive phone, I got through my work with a huge efficiency. It, however, turned out to be a hard question to me. Should I break the rules and use the phone in the spare time? I looked at the thin, rectangular dowel device on the desk, having a painful struggle. I could hardly let the annoying devil out of my sight. Annoying devil, referring to the phone again. Eventually, I took out a thick book called Nothing to Envy. From the bookcase, I exhaled, sort of relieved. So you know what an addict is? But for drug addicts, there is a slang word called junkie. That sounds more informal because this is a teenage magazine. Informal words like that could be fun. It is amazing. What is amazing to what? To the world, to society, to the community. So, no, it is amazing for you, for us, for those who try this. So it feels amazing. We talk about people or the subjects in this story. When you find yourself overcoming this difficulty, well, it sounds quite formal. How about phrasal verb? Getting over this difficulty, challenge, or what are we talking about here? A phone is like a drug, And now it agrees. The coherence, can you see? Junkie and drug, they echo each other. The game came to a half. Okay, so Abby's content was actually quite good, but the problem is there is a background setup missing. What it means is that the phone just disappeared, vanishing into the thin air. But what happened exactly? What is the background setup of this challenge or experiment? It's just missing. So what kind of game is it? Or what rules are they? Should I break the rules? But what rules are they? Who set them? So these questions need to be answered. I got through my work with a huge efficiency. Again, it sounds like some textbook language, boring. And to say something very easy, we have this idiom, plain sailing or smooth sailing for American. So use some idioms whenever possible, like plain sailing. It sounds good. Plain sailing, it rhymes. Having a painful is a simple word. So one trick Mr. Chu can use would be pushing the word to the next level. So for example, what's the word for very painful? What is the word for very hot? Boiling. What is the word for very cold? Freezing. What is the word for very painful? Let's learn this word. Excruciating. Excruciating struggle. Nothing to envy is of course a very good choice. This is such a classic. Okay. Really good taste. How far have you gathered with friends without checking the messages since last time? Okay, how far have you? This is a rhetorical question. So from time to time, interact with your reader. You is the magic word. This Friday night to me was an invaluable memory. We talked about those interesting rumors in our workplace, laughed at the stupid things in secondary school, and dreamt of a wonderful future. It's just the first time I had them plunge into the phone during a meeting. Well, this is really good imagery. Plunge, diving into it. Despite the status in social media apps, there was nothing better than a real and practical face-to-face interaction. I like this word very much, a simple word despite, to show tension and drama. Comparative language, beautiful. There was nothing better than a real and practical face-to-face interaction. A record of the fifth day, despair became rare. Incomplete sentence, excellently used, just sometimes, occasionally, not too much. This is beautiful, just 3 words, but it says a lot. Despair became rare. The rhyme, hear it, love it. And it echoes with your day one, despair. Echo. Okay, I don't know what this symbol means. It means echo here anyway. So Abby has done a good job. She made this week. She chopped this week into pieces, into checkpoints. You need to show it is a week, so you can't just focus on one day, or not mentioning the week, the time flowing in 7 days. But should you mention all the 7 days one by one, that would be too tedious. And the focus would be recommended to go to 3 days, 3 checkpoints. Okay. We have Sunday night, we have this Monday morning, and this one, not mentioned, not given, but this one is Friday. And you see Monday morning versus Friday night, the extensiveness, you see. So as time went by, some change was happening to Abby, to her life, to her attitude towards a mobile phone. So it was an invaluable memory. But I have a favorite word to introduce to Abby. You know, reveal, to make something known to somebody, to show something that previously could not be seen. And here is the noun, revelation. Revelation, okay. A fact that people were made aware of, especially one that has been secret and is surprising. The act of making people aware of something that has been secret. And finally, something that's considered to be a sign of or message from God come as a revelation to somebody. 大開眼界，耳目一新，出乎意料。So it is a very powerful word, revelation. We talked about those interesting rumors. Oh, this is a very dry adjective. In fact, whenever you say interesting, it isn't interesting anymore. So collocation is wild rumors. So not many changes here. So basically this is a beautifully written paragraph. Finally, at just 10:30 p.m, a relaxing Sunday night. Okay, coming back to the same point from the very beginning, another echo. Okay, another echo. I was reading Nothing to Envy and wondering how Miran's defected life is. So that's a good symbol showing you have really read the book. When the hour hand pointed to 11, I put away the book and turned off the lights, telling myself it was time to go to bed. Well, how can I make pointed to a bit more dramatic? I chose to say hit. Of course, you may argue that the hour hand moves slowly. You don't even notice it moving, but it is just dramatic imagination. So why not? So coming back here, as we said, Abby's major problem is there is no background set up to this question. It is tricky. The question doesn't say it clearly, explicitly, but it is your job to figure out the hidden requirement. You need to give it an explanation of why your phone is gone. Did you drop in the toilet? Was it stolen by someone? Was it an accident? Or did you deliberately lock it up? How? Why? Or which locker? Okay. So finally, I'm going to add this missing piece for Abby, the background setup. Chris, you're going to write a lifestyle article. A week without a mobile phone. You have 8 days. But wait, I'll buy you a new iPhone if you nail it right. But wait, but, okay. So I try to be a bit funny with my own brand of humor. And I'm using some dialogue because this is a teenage article, some story, and some dialogue will add some color to it, especially if it hasn't been used in Abby's original writing. So who is talking here? Obviously the editor, your boss, giving you this job. I think it is fun to give people 8 days to finish a task that takes 7 days. That means you have only 1 day to say goodbye to your dearest phone. And I'm showing that Abby is actually a junkie, mobile phone holic, mobile phone addict. And that's why a phone means so much to her. So this, as a reward, as a prize, as a gift, should be irresistible to Abby. And that's what makes the dilemma even more interesting. Can you say no? You want to because you love your phone. But since you love your phone so much, you want to say yes to get this reward, to get this ultimate prize from your boss. And I believe it fits into Abby's game or rules. It can explain what's going on here. So I hope Abby would like my creative addition.